Punishing Grey Raven was not made to be played on a controller. It has too many inputs, the UI is a mess, and the default keybinds are so unintuitive. But despite this, PGR actually plays best with a controller once you make the right tweaks. Here's what to do. First, you need to go to Settings. This can be done from the main menu here, or if you're just starting out and find yourself in the middle of a battle, you can pause the game with the Escape key or the Start button. We're going to begin with fixing the keybinds, so go to Button Position, then Controller Buttons. Since I play exclusively on a controller, I won't be covering keyboard keys here, but if there are any mouse and keyboard players here, feel free to drop your recommendations in the comments. Under Controller Buttons, make sure Controller Mode is set to On, and then select whether you're using Xbox or PS5. I actually use a PlayStation 4 controller, which works just as well. All this really controls is what the buttons are labeled with. I'll put both the PlayStation and Xbox button labels on the screen so you can follow along no matter what you prefer. Scroll all the way down to Battle Settings. Change dodge to R1 for PlayStation or right bumper for Xbox. It will warn you that this will swap the keybind with attack, and that's okay. Now dodge is on R1. This is the same as other games like Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. We're going to keep basic attack on L1 since we're saving the face buttons for something far more important. Plus, it's just really nice to have it here. We'll leave the next few inputs as is. Your signature move is your big ultimate attack on R2. Switch QTE 1 and 2 let you swap between different characters on your team or trigger their QTEs, and the cub is also a QTE. They're like your allies, and let's leave them on the D-pad as is. I set lock on to L3, which is where you click down on the left joystick. Everyone has different preferences when it comes to the camera, so your mileage may vary here. Either way, leave cancel lock on as is. Now for the fun part, the skill orbs. Skill orbs are the most daunting part of PGR for new players, but don't worry, it's not as complicated as it looks. As you fight, these orbs will appear along the bottom of the screen, and each color does a different special attack. Tapping one orb is called a ping, and tapping an orb that's in a set of 3 is called a 3-ping. 3 pings do extra strong special attacks, so you'll want to prioritize those. But you can probably see the problem here. There are 8 orbs visible on screen at a time, and while that's not a problem for a mobile device, that's a lot of inputs for your typical controller. But I have a solution. Later we'll be setting up the orbs to appear in the order of left to right. So we want the first orb to be the leftmost face button. That's square for PlayStation or X for Xbox. For the rest of the orbs, I like to imagine the face buttons getting stretched out into a line like this. So orb 2 would be triangle, that's Y for Xbox, and orb 3 would be X for PlayStation or A for Xbox. Finally, orb 4 is the rightmost orb of this set, so it goes on the rightmost face button, that's circle or B. Then, for orbs 5 through 8, we'll be using the same face buttons, but this time it will be while holding down L2, aka left trigger. So for 5 through 8, we have L2 plus square, L2 plus triangle, L2 plus X, and L2 plus circle. And with that, you're done with the keybinds. Leave everything else as is. Now we just need to fix the UI. Click the UI Layout tab and click Settings. By default, PGR's recommended UI looks like this. Everything is all close together and jammed onto the right, and the orbs take up so much of the center of the screen, and I know it's set up like this so that your thumb can reach these buttons when playing on a phone, but I'm not a fan. The first thing you're going to do is double-click the orb ping bar. Double-clicking it will show more options. Change the orb direction to L to R. What this does is change the order that the orbs will appear on the screen. Normally they appear starting on the right edge, which makes sense if you're tapping them with your right thumb on a phone screen, but for anyone who reads left to right, it will feel more intuitive if the orbs start on the left. Close the special menu by hitting the little X in the corner. Next, we're going to move the basic attack, which is this katana button. Because I set it to the left bumper, or L1, I'm putting it on the left side of the screen. Dodge is the right bumper, so I'm going to leave it here on the right. Move the orbs to the bottom center of the screen and raise up this skinny sword here above it. The skinny sword is actually a special power gauge, and it will look different for each character. It keeps track of a bunch of specific mechanics, so I like to keep it right in the middle where I can see it. This pile of swords represents your signature move. Since you activate it with the right trigger, I like to keep it on the right side here. These two Lucias represent your other party members, which you'll be able to switch to by using up and down on the D-pad. Most gacha games will put the other characters here on the right, and you can leave them there if you like it. However, because I use my left hand to press the D-pad, I actually prefer it to be on the left side, personally speaking. But just put them wherever it feels natural for you. This crescent-shaped button is your cub, or your pet. I like to think of cubs as a part of the party, and you trigger them with the left D-pad, so it's going to go to the left of the other party members like so. The target is for adjusting the camera when you're using a mobile device. But we have it mapped to a button and we don't need to see it, so I usually just set the transparency to 0. If you would like to see it, just put it someplace kind of out of the way. Lastly, this weird rectangle shape is for special interactions. It will only appear when it's relevant, so it should go someplace obvious. It will pop up when you can do something like end a stage early or activate a device. Everything else is pretty much good where it is, but feel free to make adjustments as you play that feel right for you. If you're having trouble noticing something really important, like when your signature move is ready, you can move it more towards the center of the screen where you'll notice it better. And with that, you are done! Conveniently, all the UI elements will be labeled with their respective keybinds to help you get used to learning it. Trust me, I have learned and relearned so many different keybind layouts for PGR thanks to using emulators and then switching over to the PC port and going back and forth between mobile and controller and changing my controller keybinds over and over and over again. But out of everything, this one is hands down my favorite. But of course, my feelings are subjective. If you have any controller tips, leave them in the comments. And if you want more PGR tips, you should watch this video.